Oh, let me put my headphones on. Alright guys, gonna be a new episode today on live. Give me a second to... Hey. It's gonna be a fun episode today that I'm doing on live. Let me... How do I send a request? I don't know how to do this. Okay. Ya la acabé. Give me a second, guys. I don't know how to mess with this live stuff. Yes. I can't tag in a comment. Birds of a feather. A feather. Oh, why didn't let you join? Let me pin that. I'll wait for them to jump on then. Think you gonna participate today? Oh, la boca, la bebida. I got my little notebook with a whole bunch of questions and stuff. Okay, I see one of y'all on here. So we're just waiting for Remedio. I'm gonna change this. Hi. I sent a request, but it didn't it said you wasn't able to join. So sent a request for add ya. He needs a few minutes. Oh, heard that. So y'all gonna watch me do hook until y'all ready. Chanel, baby, how are you? Whoever jumps on, feel free to ask me questions or ask my two lovely guest questions once they're ready and jump on. What do you think of this vampire look I did? Oh my teeth is yellow compared to these white teeth. Oh, okay. View request. Wait, oh, no, my feet. My fingers is too big. Hold on, I pick up the phone because that's better. Is it letting you? Is it? Did it let you in? There you go. And now the other one. Yes, I'm a vampire.
I love it.
I'm trying to. Okay, it should be adding Remy now. There he goes. Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
when I was getting ready, my boyfriend was just singing tonight will be the night that I will
I
because
love
of the
this
look.
look.
I was like, I
I
gotta
just
do
need my photo.
You
something
just did
for
it.
Halloween.
You did it. This is the
Yes,
first
in El
time.
Diablito.
This is the first time I've ever been invited to someone's live.
Really?
It's usually, yeah, I'm usually doing it on doing my show. So everyone usually comes on to do a show with me. So it's so
Heard you.
different.
So I'm popping your live cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so
look
we
at
got the
us.
Diablito, the vampire, and poison ivy. That sounds like the beginning of a bad joke.
Look at that.
Walk
Hide
in a
the little,
bar, right?
hide the little armpit chichos.
Same.
Okay, so welcome, guys, and thank you for
Hi.
coming on. Hi.
Thanks for
Um,
the invite.
yes, I'm so happy to have you on, and I'm gonna let y'all know right now. One, I might end up popping these things off. That's one. Two, I got some spicy questions for y'all today. And then we have a game two. I
Oh
have two
boy.
games actually.
Okay.
So this is I feel it that is gonna be good. And anyone watching, if you want to ask any questions to them, to me, throw it in there. Yeah, time for anonymous ended at 8 o'clock. So now you say it, you said it.
Say it and own it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the Birds of a Feather pod. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I am Lindsay, and I never come to the house empty-handed because you guys always have cheap liquor. It's Lindsay.
And hi, I didn't prepare an intro. I'm Remy.
And we're from the Birds of a Feather
Throw shade together.
pod. Welcome.
I love it. I love it. I love the shade. So I have a lot of shady stuff for you guys today.
Oh boy.
Hopefully we'll be all on board with that. Do you guys
I'm
have
done.
drinks with y'all? Do y'all
I
have
do. I do. I have a full cup. And
yeah,
it's
I
a
have
little
a
strong. I open tomorrow,
yeah.
so I am gonna go my normal self, but not as crazy because that's a morning shift.
Same.
But
This cup is a little strong.
that's fuerte.
Whiskey. I'm a whiskey girl. Okay. So starting off that, how did you guys come up with this podcast? Or like what made y'all start the podcast? I want to hear the story.
I'll let you go since you tell it so well. Or should I?
No, you can start it.
I
Yeah,
can.
do it.
Okay.
Mhm.
So 4 years, because mind you, we've known each other from like 2012. No, 15. 2015.
Okay.
This was post Canton. You know, me and you knew each other in 2012. I met Lindsay in about 2013, 2014, around there. So for years after we budded our blossoming friendship, we were talking about we need to do a podcast. We need to do a podcast. And then it's funny because other people we know is like, you guys should do a podcast. You guys should do some type of show or something because just the conversations we have with each other, they're so stupid. They're so fucking stupid, but they're so funny. We get so in depth with a bunch of shit, especially about things that we're passionate about. And with the conversation, the way that it flows, it makes other people want to like join in and like they put
Mhm.
in their 2 cents as well. And
Mhm.
it's funny because even now, as we record our podcast, we always hear people say, "Oh, it feels like I'm like on the conversation. I feel like I'm responding back to you all." So
Yeah.
one day after the pandemic, we were just like, "Well, let's get it started."
And we finally did. You know, we always trying to push for something, but it's so funny because exactly how he said it. It's like just by our text messages alone, it's hilarious. And then when we're in the room and we're talking to somebody, we say something funny. They're like, "Yo, you guys should just record yourselves." And for years, we keep saying, "Oh, tonight when we go out, we're going to record ourselves." And this was
And you
before we
never do
even
it.
said we wanted a podcast. We wanted to record it and have it for material in the future because of the shit that we'd say. And it's so funny because, no lie, listening to our podcast, every episode that we have recorded and it's available for you guys to listen to, no, not to gas it up, it's a conversation we actually have sitting down on our own, either with friends, texting, or when we're in the same room. So it's so funny because the amount of material that we have in our head, we have so much in our head that we want to talk about, but we're doing them in order. Like, we like to make it like flow naturally, so we don't rehearse much. The only thing we do rehearse is the hot topics that we
Like,
do, so
what are
that
we
we
going
are
to talk
aware
about?
of what we're going to talk about as far as
Yeah.
like celebrities and things that's affecting the pop culture world. But then we don't, like, there are times we'll say something that's going to touch the subject of the podcast in the week. We're like, we're not going to talk
Don't
about
do-
it. We're going to wait till we do it so it's
and
organic and it's
I've
natural.
seen you do that where you're like, oh, I'm not talking about this because I'm talking about it on this episode that's dropping, so we'll talk about it after. Or
Yeah.
like you'll say,
We'll
oh,
do it
well,
after.
I'm gonna hold
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So that way it could be our authentic conversation. So anytime we laugh, like when I laugh, like even to the point where we don't even tell each other what our intros are. That way, if it's funny or if it's shady, we are giving our real response to it. So
Yeah.
when we say something like, oh God, you know what I mean? It's actually us saying, oh God, to some shenanigans. Or when we throw each other under the bus or give ourselves a dig, it's not like we're going to say this. It's actually happening. And it's funny because anyone who doesn't know us outside of this, when you listen to it, that's exactly how we are when we're together or having a
Yeah, and I was
sip of
gonna
drink.
ask like, what is like the prep work for you guys? Because like I know when I started the podcast, I thought about doing it with someone, and I had a few people that were like, oh, if you do this, like I would love to jump on, and they never have jumped on, or they'll be like, oh, I want to do it with you. But then I felt like for me, it's so hard to like think of topics by myself because I feel like with you guys being two of you guys, like it's a flow of conversation. With
Mhm.
me,
So
it's like, I have to bring someone on, or if I'm talking by
right.
myself, like, what am I going to talk about? And with me, I don't really prep. I just go on and think, and I don't keep myself to a schedule, which is I don't post as much. So, do you guys hold each other accountable? What's the prep work like? Do you guys like?
Let me tell you, I hold this one accountable
Yes, he does.
because she has such a busy schedule, and I understand that. I know she's a busy woman. She got a lot going on, but I'm like, if you can make time to do Beat Face weekly, you got to
Yep.
commit to this
Mm-hmm.
podcast. So now we kind of like our schedules kind of match around to the point where we have a specific day where we just happen to be free because my schedule is the same every week, and for the most part, so is hers. So it's
Yeah.
like we end up just recording that day. And then as far as what we're going to talk about, it's usually we figured we do hot topics because it's like it's things that are current. Everybody's talking about them, and it's just so much happens. But we have a lot that we're interested in common, so it's easy to pick things up. Like, oh, I was about to say something that was on next week's episode. You got me, Nelly. You got me. You almost pulled it out of me. Um, No, so like we'll just throw out ideas and be like, oh hey, do you want to talk about this? Do you want to talk about that?
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be like, I can see us having a
Mm-hmm.
conversation about that. Let's talk about it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we both pitch in ideas, we pick like things collectively, and we keep in
Mm-hmm.
mind that we try to keep it down to an hour and a half because if you let us, we could talk all night.
Yeah.
So
And we're so good with that. Like the best thing about it is, we have worked with other people, not just like YouTube shows. We've done stuff where we try to attempt to do a podcast before with other people. I try to do a collab with the Beat Face alone. It's just like sometimes it doesn't flow through because we may all agree on something, but people behind the scene want to change something else.
Mm.
With us, that I've noticed, we bounce back. We love everything we talk about, and it's no hard feeling. I can say, hey, do you think we should talk about Katy Perry this week? This is what's going on. And I'm like, I wasn't interested in it. And then it's left alone. You know what I mean? Or if he wants to come up to me and tell me about something else in the pop culture world, I'm like, I don't know. That's not what I'm into. And it's fine. But it also works out if one of us really don't have that much of an idea that week. And the other person, okay, this is the list that I have. What do you think? I'm 99% of the time saying I'm cool with it because we need to fill up the
Record
space,
something, yeah.
and it's going to be a fun conversations. And usually Remy is very respective when it comes to it being the other way around. Like tonight, we usually for the last 2 months we've been recording our podcast usually on Monday nights, but we did it last night so that we can do your show
Oh,
tonight because we were
so you guys
hyped.
wouldn't be
So
too tired of
honey,
talking.
we've been booked this week. We've been booked,
Booked and
booked, booked,
busy.
booked.
And that's another thing like that I love about your guys' podcast. Like, well, I can listen to it everywhere. Like the other
Oh,
day, I
I
told you I
love
was
it.
like in the gym, and it really was that I'm always like responding to you guys, like I'm there,
Mm-hmm.
like if y'all can hear me, and like I was doing some type of squat with like, and I'm over here laughing and talking to myself, and the boyfriend was like, what are you like? Why are you laughing? And I'm listening to the podcast. Leave me alone. And I'm
Does he
just
listen
cracking
to it?
up. He doesn't even listen to mine. I think. I mean, like he'll skim, but
Like I
You
said,
gotta
yeah.
put it on in the room.
If it's
yeah.
not about gym, he's not interested. Like he's just a
We
gym rat.
should do a
Tell
gym
him we're
episode.
talking about the gym episode next week, and then he'll
And then
tune in.
he'll listen,
And then we
right?
And then
got
when he
it.
gets to the end and he finds out there's nothing about the gym,
Well, you already listened, so oh wow, now you're a
right?
fan. But that's another thing is like you guys talk about a lot of hot topics, and a lot of
Mhm.
it is like reality TV.
Mhm.
And except for a few select shows, I don't really watch reality TV. Never watched the episodes of The Housewife, but I be knowing the characters and stuff because you guys are so detailed in like your recaps. So, and it's always like, oh, if you guys don't know this, like you give a good recap, and
Mhm.
I feel like it makes me. I don't like those type of shows, but it makes me really want to watch. And I'm always asking you guys, like, which one do I watch? Which one do I start off with? Because you guys give such a good detail. And it's
Atlanta.
like, I gotta write it down because this week
Start
I
off.
have mad free
Start off
time to
with
watch TV.
Atlanta, and then Beverly Hills. It's so funny. One of our close friends, Shelly, who you know, she never watched anything Housewives, and as a group, we told her, start with Beverly Hills. Start with Beverly Hills. Within the last month, I want to say, I don't know if I'm exaggerating, but within the last month, she has went from season 1, and she literally just finished the most current season that has ended. She's been
Wow.
dedicated to it,
And
but
has
it's
already jumped to New York, so she's like
yes, it's
continuing
already
on.
on New York. It's already on New York. Like she's not playing games. But what I love about it is you can tell when someone's invested. Not that some people may like it and some people don't. At least you tried it. That's okay. Like I'll try something. If I
Yeah.
don't like it, I'm not gonna continue on. But I love when people are invested and in the group chat they're like, oh my god, not Nene doing this, not Nene doing that, and we're cackling and I find it funny. But it's one of my favorite things because when we do our podcast, our friends are texting us or DMing us telling us, oh my God, not you talking about the Malta. Oh my God, not you guys are talking about the Sour Patch. Again, and I love someone who has, like, we have friends who has listened to every episode from beginning to end since we started. And anytime we mention something like the Taco Bell, look at us, we're doing it tonight. We're talking about the Taco Bell. They're like, not you
That's
guys
in
Cannot
my
talking about
not talk
question.
about
Taco
a Taco
Bell
Bell.
again.
That's in my questions. Like I have a few things like that I pinpointed from the podcast episodes
I love it.
that I wanted to bring out. And one of the things, if you guys have not tuned in, you guys have to follow Birds of a Feather Pod and listen into their episodes. But they always, 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 always end up talking about Taco Bell. The last episode you guys posted, I was like, oh, they haven't spoken about Taco Bell yet. And then you guys said the mean girl quote about I can't eat Taco Bell. And then and you guys didn't like say anything about it. And I'm like, here you freaking go again. Like
We don't do it on
without a
purpose.
fail. Without a
You
fail.
know-
So what's the obsession with Taco Bell?
Okay, I'm gonna say. I mean, I love me some. Look, don't get me wrong. I love me some Taco
I love
Bell.
Taco Bell.
Every time we are at a bar, or at a club in Hell's Kitchen, no lie, when I have left the club really late, we have walked to Taco Bell, and I've gotten me all my little meals and I take it home.
Because
what's
after a long night of drinking, it's I'm on the search to get food. I
yeah,
need to get
yeah,
food. I need to go home, and I need to sleep.
But Taco Bell's the worst thing to eat after you
not for
drunk.
me. Not for me. It be hitting
It
in
be
a
hit-
good way. Oh, I'm good. I don't have those little toilet issues or anything. I wake up just fine.
perfectly
It's good.
fine.
It's a great time. But I want to say it's funny because something like the Taco Bell thing wasn't even done on purpose. It was an accidental thing because I think that was in our first or second episode we've ever made. We were talking about our drinks and whatnot, and we were talking about how not to be bougie, but we don't do cheap alcohol. We don't do cheap alcohol because it fucks us up. And I'm sure it does that to a lot of people. Sometimes people don't understand. They look at you, they're like, oh, you only do the Johnny Walkers or you only do the Casamigos, you only do the Espolón because of its name. And sometimes, like, it's not that. It's because that is a top shelf stuff.
I can't help that I'm a top shelf bitch. I can't help that I'm a top shelf bitch. Like, hello.
It puts us in a good mood and we can drink. Growing up, when I first started drinking, and I don't know if you guys can put in your experience too, but when I tried the little gasolina vodka, I was sick for 3 days, and I said never again. Never
Nelly
again.
knows about that.
Okay.
Remember Mohawk vodka?
Oh my God, I have not
Okay.
fond memories of that.
Listen.
No,
Not
remember
fun.
the UV? All the
The
different colors of
UV.
UV.
And we used to get the bottles. They used to be like fucking this big for like $20.
Yes, the Georgie bottles.
Mhm.
You get the barrel.
Oh.
The barrel for $3. The barrel they sell now. at
First few
Costco.
years
No,
of
thank
high
you.
school, Georgie,
terrible. So
No,
with
Georgie and Devil Springs. If you ever
Devil
went to one of
Springs,
Oh,
my
I've
high
had
school
double springs.
parties, you've had one of my Devil Springs punch, and
no,
it wouldn't taste like it. Like everyone will tell me like, oh, what you put in there, and I'd be like Devil Springs. They'll be like, no, you didn't. You didn't put Devil Springs in there. I'm like, yeah, I did, and they'll be like, but it doesn't taste. It tastes so good. But damn sure they will be probably sick the next day.
so you
Hmm.
wake up mad and enferma the next day, like, what the fuck was I drinking? But so we were talking about how we don't do cheap alcohols, and we did the list of like the top 10 cheap, like famous cheap tequila, and after we were reading it and we were talking about how cheap it was, it would say available at Taco Bell. And then when we read the next one, it's available in Taco Bell. And that became literally, it became a whole obsession within itself. The next few episodes, we would mention it. So now it's part of
Yeah,
our
because there's some
Birds of a
Taco
Feather
Bells in the
thing.
city that have alcohol, and
Yeah,
Burger
the
King's too.
cantinas. Yeah, the
And
cantinas.
I haven't had like those drinks from there. I'm like scared to, but that should be an episode in itself. If you guys want to invite me, and I'll drink Taco Bell
Okay.
tequila with you guys, and we can record that because I'm with that. And if you ever are looking for a trio podcast, I'm with.
You ever
But
got drunk off the Chipotle margarita? The Chipotle tequila? Not
I
good
I've
got a
either.
nice
had it,
buzz.
but
I got a
I've
nice
had it,
buzz.
but never gotten like lit off of it.
Oh, a little
Mm-mm.
buzzy. It's not the best, but it's nice buzzy. I think it's a Don Julio, if I'm not mistaken, that they use.
Another kind of tidbits that I took from recent episode, which we spoke about on your show, Lindsay, was the warm Malta. And I tagged you guys the other day because I drank warm Malta. I was trying to make things slow down.
Hmm.
So warm Malta. If you guys want to talk about the conversation was about warm Malta.
Okay, I love it. The most recent episode we did was tell us you're Hispanic without saying you're Hispanic. And one of the things we talked about was Malta and how we grew up, especially in a Latino household. Malta was a must to have in your fridge. And
Always.
I remember in junior high, I was hanging out with a lot of putas sucias. And whether they were doing it right or wrong,
Still
I don't
think
know
you
if they
hang
were
out with a lot of
sucking
putas
dick right.
sucias, but
Oh, I do, but now we're advanced and we're smart. So puta sucianess is just out of caliber. These puta sucias were like, you know what I mean? They were thinking in their head, like, if I put in the bun, I'm still a virgin. Those type of girls, dumb. They didn't even know how to give a proper hand job. Don't get me started. But what I'm saying is, I remember I would be in the lunchroom, and one of the girls would be like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna get in trouble. I think I'm pregnant." I'm like, these girls thinking they're pregnant. Like, what the hell? That's what was my joke in the last episode when I was like, "Oh, I think I'm pregnant because, bitch, you gotta get some dick to get pregnant." Anyway, they were saying like, "Oh, girl, if you want to have like," I guess they were saying it like the day after pill type of method. It was like, "Oh, you have manta in the house. You have to warm up the manta and you have to drink it really fast when it's like really warm." And they were like, "Yeah, girl. Like, yeah, girl. If you drink that real quick, you would like not be pregnant. Like, you would like basically it's like the next day pill. Like, you just swallow and that shit gets flushed out the toilet." And I would be like, what kind of
like, where did
shenanigans
this
is
come from?
this?
Yeah.
And it just went up in conversations over and over and over. Throughout the years, it just stopped. I guess people realized it didn't work. But I wanted to know if Remy or other people have heard that before. But it's so funny because you commented back and you were like, I didn't hear about the pregnancy, but you said that it did help
It makes
when you're on
your
your period.
flow come earlier. So like if you're about to get you wanted to come like me, I'm going on vacation next week, so I wanted to come super early. So
Yeah.
I'm like I've been drinking not hot where I heat it up, but like warm Malta, room temperature Malta. And I
Yeah.
got like I know my body, so I already know it's gonna come a few days early. So I'm like it's lit. That and then another thing I wanted to and it was so funny because I was like screaming at my phone and I'm like, all right, Nelly, you gotta chill. But you guys were talking about baby showers.
Yes.
And you guys were talking about how some people will invite you to their baby shower and they'll
Yeah.
say like you want the scholastic book, you want this. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, do you mean a diaper raffle? Because I did this in my baby shower and I know friends that do this. I don't know about the whole get me something expensive for my registry and bring diapers. But the way I
Hmm.
did it and the way I've gone to baby showers is if you bring diapers or wipes, they give you like a little raffle ticket. So at my baby shower, what I did is I put a registry. If you get me something from the registry, whatever, or you get me something not from the registry, come with a gift. And then I also said at the end of the invitation, like to enter the raffle, bring diapers or wipes. So then if you brought me a box of
Mm.
diaper or wipes, I gave them a ticket. And at the end of the night, we took on the ticket, and I bought like 3 different bottles, and then whoever won the raffle, I gave them like a honey bottle or a vodka bottle, a tequila bottle, and that was like,
Wow.
so it's okay. You're bringing an extra gift, but you might win something, not some get me a gift and get me diapers.
Well,
Because I was
Yeah,
like, oh
no.
no.
you know how to throw a
Yeah,
baby shower.
you
You know how to
do. Yeah.
organize an event.
Hmm.
And some
I'm
people
Whenever
telling you,
don't.
I
mine,
need to
I'll
be a
let
party
you run
planner in my
it.
next life.
Yeah.
Right. I need to be a party because like that, it's like okay, you're bringing me. Obviously, you need diapers, a lot of diapers. You go through a lot of diapers when you first have a baby.
Right.
But I'm not gonna expect you to get me 2 gifts, 3 gifts. Like you're wildin'. Bring the diaper. You do. You in the raffle. You get a little
Yeah.
gift after. So I was
No.
like, okay, maybe that's what you guys met. But then you're like, no,
Mm-mm.
like they just
No, that's never happened. The only thing I've gotten when I left was the little frosted almonds and the little like sheer little bolsita. And it was the color of it was blue, white, or pink. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. The little almonds. None of you have ever gotten like an almond. It was like frosted. You know what I'm talking about, Nelly, right? That no one
like
really eats.
chocolate. Yeah,
It's like a
but it's
chocolate.
not chocolate
Yeah,
covered. Like yeah.
it's covered.
No. But
It's
you know what I
covered.
always thought was chocolate? You know the little weight that holds down the balloons, the little
Oh,
silver thing that looks like a Hershey's Kiss?
me
When I
It's
was
like a
too.
always
pebble.
when I was a kid, I always thought it was a Hershey's Kiss, like a huge one. I was like, oh, they're giving out Hershey Kisses at this baby shower or at this event. And then next thing you know, when you finally get to it, you open it, it's a fucking rock.
It's a rock,
JP says
yeah.
he's
It's to
candied
hold down
almonds.
the
Yes.
little
Yeah.
The
souvenir
little
thing.
weight.
And
I'd be so
another
pissed.
question: have you really never, ever, ever ate a honey bun?
Oh, I've never eaten a honey bun.
Oh yeah.
Why?
I'm a picky eater. I've come to
Mm.
realize it's just about texture. But now, like, I've never looked at a honey bun and like, ooh, I want to try that. It looks like a piece of dough with glaze on it. And I don't even eat glazed donuts.
Oh, it's
You don't like
delicious.
the glaze? I would
But
think you would.
shout out for Nelly to giving us the little bites that she's been listening to. You've been doing your homework, girl.
Oh, so you want to see how much I did my homework? So this goes to my next question. Before well, it's a little game we're gonna play,
Okay.
Okay.
and if you get it wrong, you guys have to take a sip.
Okay.
Before I then
Ready.
after this little game, I'm gonna ask some of the spicy questions, and then we'll play the
Okay.
other game. But
Okay.
so intro into the game. What is your guys' favorite intro? So before they do, for anyone who has not listened, and you need to go listen, is right before they always introduce themselves, but they always say like this funny little line, and then be like, "It's Lindsay" or "It's Remy." So what is your guys' favorite intro?
Okay, I'm gonna go first, and it's a cheat answer, but I cannot tell you my favorite intro because when the episode drops on Friday,
Hmm.
I think I have said the most ridiculous shit this week that has topped everything that I
Hmm.
have said yet. Next to my what's this woman's name? The AMC intro, the
Nicole
Nicole
Kidman's
Kidman.
intro. That was, I think, everyone could have stopped talking about that one. That was like, as soon as he said like the first sentence hit, I already knew because we go to the movie so much. So I'm like, this bitch is fucking rehearsing Nicole Kidman's monologue to welcome you. If you guys haven't seen it, or if you guys can't afford to go to the movies, before your movie starts, you see the shade. This is why we're birds of a feather shade together.
It's $5 on Tuesday.
Before the film starts, Nicole Kidman walks into the hallways and she starts doing her monologue like, "Welcome to like the place of life and
She's
arts
like,
and
we
culture."
come here for, and she's just like
Entertain,
going on.
yeah.
But she sits down and she's watching the screen. So Remy did
Did
an
that intro?
introduction in one of the episodes, and I thought it was hilarious. Hilarious. It was funny. My
What's
favorite
your favorite
would have to
intro?
be the Phaedra because it was so long as well, and I was giving the shade about Kenya and the sperm banks. So that was a
Okay,
good
so
read.
I'm glad that you guys didn't mention anything I have, and I'm hoping that your memory is not that good because the little
Oh,
game is who said this. So I have like 6 of each of you guys intro from different
okay,
episodes, and I want you
okay,
guys to guess who said it.
You know this is gonna
okay.
be tough for me
Just,
because I forget what
just.
we say
I
as
was
soon as
gonna
we
say this.
finish.
You're
Just
funny.
for the record, I'm gonna win. He's gonna lose.
I
Okay.
figured Remy would have no idea
No.
what his intros were, so I tried to pick ones that were like super like Remy-ish to give him a little leeway. But let's see. So who said I am Owen Wilson's broken nose?
Remy.
You.
Oh,
Drink Remy. That was definitely you.
Oh, I love
Okay.
this. Yes, guys, you guys can participate too.
Who do you and you got? I'll wait, and you guys can tell me who you think said it. And you guys, when you're drinking, and when
Okay.
Shelly said you have your hookah,
Yeah.
you can take some hookah or take a drink. Who do
We'll
you guys
pause,
think
let
said?
them answer, and then we'll go.
Yeah. So
Okay.
who do you think said I accidentally swallowed a condom with hot sauce? Yeah, let few people come. Who said it?
Oh, we can answer it now because
Let
Yeah,
I'm
let them
gonna.
let
chime in before
Okay.
yeah.
I'll let them answer, but you guys can answer, and then I'll say who said it.
Okay. Oh,
Shelly
okay.
said David. Shanti said Lindsay.
I'm gonna say me.
I'm gonna say you as well.
Okay, you guys are right. Lindsay definitely said that.
If you notice, by the way, in our intros, we have such a signature thing because even though they both end up always being shady, Remy does like the mic drop kind of intros, and I do like the pervy, shady. I'm dissing you and I'm dissing us. Everybody,
I'm not.
we're a shit show.
I'm not gonna lie. I love you, Lindsay, but you gotta step your intro game up. Because when I was listing them, I was like, I'm not gonna lie. The ones that I picked for Remy, I'm like, these were
Yeah,
fire. And then you had some spicy ones too. But then you had some that were like, go if they didn't know we were talking about, it would go over people's
yeah.
heads
Over
type thing.
people's head. Yeah, that's me. That's my shtick.
That's your stick. Okay, so who said deep down inside my pants, I have a front wedgie?
Me. That was definitely me.
Can I tell you that I didn't remember this, nor did I remember the last one, but I know 100% without a doubt that it was you.
hmm
Cassie said Remy. I don't know if she said Remy to the last one of this
She said
one.
it to the
Oh
last
my
one.
god.
Okay.
Oh.
You guys are thinking like slow, so I'm gonna say yes, it was Lindsay. So okay.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
This was an easy one. This
Okay.
was an easy one. Who said, "It's your girl Mish, wet, wet, never thirsty, 'cause I stay wet." Yeah, you gotta answer
That is
yes.
1000% Remy. That was
Same, yeah.
1000% him.
That I think that's my favorite one.
She says she never thirsty. She stay wet. I love that for her. It's giving
I love
yeast.
that part. Her just giving yeast. It's just giving. You need some BV pills or something, sis. Who said, "Why be his piece when I can be Hispanic?"
That was
That
Remy.
was me.
Shanti said Remy.
Definitely Remy.
Yeah.
It was Remy. Who said, "I'm Ariana Grande's ponytail"?
That was me.
That was the episode I said I'm Owen Wilson's broken nose. Yeah, that was you.
hmm
Now it makes sense. It's all coming together.
Now you're starting to remember. Okay. I steal hearts from across the room.
Oh, that's definitely Remy.
That was
Again, like I
you.
said, you can always tell. Like I said, the introduction is always when it's like a self,
That
like
was you.
no, no,
That
that
one
was
was
not
you.
me.
That was
That
you.
was okay. I know I'm gonna win. Please, okay. If if I lose, I'm taking
Two
three
shots.
sips at once. I'm gonna take
So
three
again,
sips.
guys, who do you think said it? I steal hearts from across the room.
That has to be
Shanti said that
Remy.
one is a favorite.
That one was you.
I'll give 3, 2,
Fuck. Now I'm nervous. Oh my
1.
god.
It
If
was
it's me.
definitely you, Lindsay. So drink one.
So it's time to drink.
Mm-hmm. Who said this is honestly this was the one this was my favorite intro. I keep my a-hole tight. I keep my circle tight like my a-hole.
Remy.
That was me.
The hookah is bussin'. It's Love 69. Love 66, whatever it is. That was Remy. So Remedio drink. Okay, who said I'm a certified freak 7 days a week?
Remy.
That was me.
Oh, look at that. Tooth came out. My tooth came out.
Not that.
I'm trying out blue because I'm gonna be in Colombia for Halloween.
Uh-huh.
So I'm hoping
Oh,
to
you're
wear
not gonna
it.
be here for Halloween?
I come back Halloween morning.
Oh, you're gonna
But
miss
that
our
weekend,
weekend.
I know the weekend I'm gonna be in Colombia, which supposedly they have like a really big Halloween like festival over there. So I'm like, okay, I wanted to try out the fangs and try out the glue, but I'm seeing that this glue ain't it, so I have to get a different
Yeah.
glue. But that was Remy. So you guys are doing actually really good. Um, oh, see, now
You
we
know
got one.
how many times I listen to our own podcast?
Who said I am the throat goat?
Me.
You.
Me.
Who do you guys think is the throat goat?
Well, that's a different question. That's a different question.
You're right. It's me.
Yo.
That was Lindsay. Okay. We have a few more. Who said my face card never declines?
That was me.
I'm gonna say Remy.
But I mean, does it?
Nelly.
I, I mean,
It was Remy. My face card never declines. Okay. Who said the only thing you can take from me is notes?
That
the
was
only thing you can take from me is what?
notes.
Oh
Notes.
no.
That was me.
That was
Last.
absolutely
That was
Remy.
definitely with you, Remy.
Mhm.
Last one. Gas can make you cry.
That's me.
Right.
That's me. I
You
told you
guys
you can
are really
always
good.
thank you. I'm saying you can always tell. It's just that is where see what I mean? It's always something nasty.
That just shows where our minds go.
Right. Okay, so that's it for the little first game that I had. You guys actually did really good. I tried to find ones that were like, oh look, my other two came out.
Yeah. Well,
I tried to find ones that were like in older episodes, hoping that you guys would not remember. Because I'm very bad. Like my memory is horrible. Like I forget things 5 seconds after I say them. I'm like, I said that? You sure I said that? It don't sound like that. I will say it.
that's
But you guys did good. Okay, so I want to hear because you guys both consider each other, yeah, best friends.
hmm
How did you guys meet?
When I was leaving the the club one day, I saw this go-go boy crying at the corner, and I was like, "Little go-go boy, why are you crying?" And Remy was then telling me that he didn't collect any tips.
this
His
by.
man just left it.
This by.
We actually met. It's so funny. I don't want to say. Well, I can say a little bit. I don't want to say too much because we do have an episode coming up soon on when we met, when we worked
I feel like
together.
I'm always guessing your episodes. I always just be knowing what I'm going to talk about
But
next.
it's coming through. But I know yeah, it's coming through. But it's when we worked together at the CMA, and the
Like
funny
CMA,
part
AMC.
is I will say the very beginning because we'll if that's okay I'll say the very beginning and then Remy can put his 2 cents and his experience. But um the very first time, y'all, Remy was very shady boots and was not featuring my jokes. See,
Here
not
we
everyone gets
go.
my jokes because
Here
it's
we
the truth.
go.
I was standing at the Servicios Palos guest, and I was checking the list of people we were interviewing. Then comes along across the hall is Remy. So he comes up to us, and I was with someone else, and he's like, "Hey, my name is Remy. I'm here for an interview." So I said jokingly, "Oh, bad news. That interview has been canceled. We're not doing interviews today. Sorry." So I was like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "I'm just kidding. Have a seat to the side." His response was exactly like this. "Well, I'm here." And I'm like, "Oh,
Well, they called me, so I'm here. I'm
yeah."
here for my
Well, they
interview.
called me, so I'm here. And I'm like, "Oh, oh, oh." And he sat down and basically told me, "Bitch, find the person I'm going to be interviewing with I'm not wasting any more time. I have things to do. I have dominoes waiting at home.
Oh, so because something I feel like, and this is just my personal opinion, I feel like most friendships that last, you end up like not liking the person in the beginning. Was
Yeah,
that a
I
thing?
don't.
Like, did you guys not like?
I
Did
don't.
y'all not
I don't
click
think that was.
I
originally?
don't think so.
No,
Because
I
I
don't think that was
barely
the
saw him
case.
at the beginning.
Right.
After his interview, I never saw him again for like a good few, like 2 weeks. I'm gonna say.
Right.
Am I
I felt like
making that up?
I feel like it was a little longer, but it could have been 2 weeks. Again, I don't
Yeah.
have that great of a memory. I have memory I choose to remember.
Same.
So there was one night that I was out with some of my friends who I used to work with, and in heading to the bar that I was going to, I was walking Lindsay in the opposite direction, like just crossing. So I looked at her. I was just like I was like, I know you. Like I've seen you before. Like I recognize you from the job. And then at that point, I was just like, okay, like I never seen him, but next time I do, I'm gonna say hi or whatever. And then next time I do, I was
Yeah,
like, oh hey, how's it going? And then
my
like try to
vampire
start a
season.
conversation. I was like just trying to start a small conversation, nothing like too deep. And then like
Hmm.
eventually, some way somehow down the line, we ended up working a little bit more on the same shifts together. So from there, that's when we
Hmm.
started like having more conversations. And then I guess we just realized that we had so much in common.
Yeah.
So then the friendship just flourished from there. Like you guys just started hanging out all the time, and then it just
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the first night that we hung out, I'll say that for another time, was a story too within itself. But that I'm gonna save for the pod.
so I'll ask a little messy question because I feel like a friendship doesn't become like rock solid until you guys have like that fight or disagreement or like something that is like, oh, is this gonna mess up the friendship? And then it's like you guys
Oh,
overcome it. So
there
what
have
was
been.
like your biggest fight amongst yourselves
I
or
want to
biggest
say.
disagreement?
I want to say. I'll answer this. I feel like one point where I questioned whether we were going to be friends or not, like go after the fact, was one time we went out for a brunch on Valentine's Day, and I got so fucked up to the point where I didn't even get to eat before because we were trying to meet up, and one way or another it
Hmm.
didn't happen. Like we ended up running late. We were stuck in
They
traffic.
also didn't serve the food. At the venue that we were at, they didn't serve something that Remy would actually eat as
Yeah,
well.
Oh, because you're a piggy eater, like you said.
right. I'm more open now, but at that time, yeah. So then I was just drinking. This was at Senior Frog, so they had drinks that were like this fucking
Mm.
big, and I'm just taking them down. I think I had like two or three of them. One of my other friends came with a couple of people she knew, and then we started taking shots and just drinking. And by the end of the night, I was well, not even the end of the night. It was by what was it like 2 p.m. By like 2 p.m.
Yeah. Hmm.
I
Day
was
drinking,
so
never a good idea.
I was throwing up everywhere. I was throwing up blood. I was getting
Yeah.
into it with people.
Yeah.
Like there were people who
Yeah.
were with us that I felt like they tried to shade me. So me and them got into it. And long story short, while we were leaving, I felt like that was gonna be it. Like after that, there was no coming back, or at least one of the moments where I felt that. There were some others,
Hmm.
but that one specifically, I was just like, ooh, I think I played myself. I think I went too hard and got fucked up and fucked like this friendship up.
Aw.
And
How
it's
did
like,
you
I'm
guys
like,
But
like come back
I'm
or
like,
like survive?
I'm like, it's okay, girl. It's okay. It's okay. In my head, I'm like, oh my God, this bitch can't fucking handle it. Look, this is the second time she's performing. This is the second time. Like I said, the first time we hang out was already a story. But since he gave this nugget, I'm
we
definitely
told
not
that
going to talk
story
about
on
the
the
first time.
podcast.
But,
So you guys have to tune in to their episode of their podcast dropping Friday, and they'll let you know what happened, the rest of
Oh,
the
it,
bit.
it was on an older episode, so you're gonna have to go back into the archives and listen
hmm
to the older episode about when we
Listen
went
to
out.
everything. Yeah, I'm like re-listening because when you guys first dropped, I was listening, and then you guys went on like a little hiatus and didn't drop for a while. Then y'all
yeah,
dropped back to back, and I think I have like 3 or 4 episodes that I haven't heard yet. That I've been like this week preparing. I've been like listening to
yeah,
everything. So there's like still a few episodes. They have you guys been doing this for a year now, right?
we're going on a year. We're going to go on a year in February.
In February. So you guys
hmm
have, I believe, 24 episodes out right now.
Right.
Look at
So there's a lot.
you! Look
I was
at
doing my
you!
research. So this is episode 8 for me. So I'm just starting off and I haven't been
Yeah.
as consistent. Like you guys are goals because like you guys are actually consistent. I'm trying to be as consistent as you guys. But yeah, so go back and listen and y'all will hear that story.
Yes.
So as friends, you guys know each other better than anyone else that knows the other person. What would you say the other, like Remy, what would you say Lindsay's biggest strength and flaw is, and vice versa?
Ooh.
Am I answering first?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I answered the last question first, but okay, I guess I'll answer this one first
But
as
I
well.
honestly, I'm a little biased. I feel like you're more shady than Lindsay, and I feel like if Lindsay goes first, you'll tailor your shade to how shady she is. So I feel like you should go first.
I love it.
I don't even
Mm.
remember the question.
What is her
That's a
biggest
shame right there.
strength and flaw?
I want to say her biggest strength is that when she puts her mind to something, she is on it. She's doing it. Like when it comes to just getting up in makeup, getting up in drag, getting keeping a consistent show like D Face going. Even now, like fitting the podcast and making that a thing where it's even to the point where sometimes she'll text me and be like, well, are we recording today? What are we doing? Like, let's talk about this. Some of the episodes, Lindsay's basically giving all of the hot topics. Some of the episodes I'm giving them. Sometimes it's collabs. But when Lindsay does it, I see, it's just like, okay, I see you, boo. You did your homework. Okay. So I definitely would say that, like, I'll say she's self-driven.
Like,
I'll give that. Um,
do you want to let her say your
yeah,
biggest strength and then you
yeah,
say the flaw? Okay.
yeah.
What's Remy's biggest strength?
She has none. I'm kidding. Wait, hold on.
Okay, so Remy can't correct you and
I'm
can't shade
gonna
you when you guys are in the episode, but you can
I'm gonna
shade him.
say I am
Mm,
gonna actually say the biggest strength that Remy does have, and I'm tooting his own horn because I've had like serious conversations with other people about it that he has, which is why I think he's a ride or die, is because he is literally loyal to the T. If I'm not okay, he's not okay with it. But with that being said, he's still his own person. He is still able to be like, I'm gonna ride for you, and I'm gonna have an opinion too. But I'm also gonna say this. I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean? It's not like he's in the shadow. He's not waiting for me to make any types of moves unless it's something fun. But if I don't have to say anything, if I feel like the second I feel like I'm upset, something ain't right, I'm over it. He's like, all right, bitch, what are we doing? What's going on? Oh, he'll send a text like, oh, bitch, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? And I'll tell him something, and he's just one of the only few people that I can list in my hands that whatever I've told him has never come out of his mouth. And I know for a fact it never came out of his mouth, which is why we're able to create that type of bond. But with that being said, I don't want people to think that, oh, of course he's like this and he's in your shadow. He's like this, but he's still like, it's crazy. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, he is still his own. He can still stand up to me like, bitch, I ain't fucking doing that, and walks away. I'm like, I want to do this. You know what I mean? But that's between us. But as a whole, as a friend with other people, he's not playing that with nobody. He's like, nah, bitch, you're not gonna talk about Linz in this way, or you're not gonna do this to Linz. You know what I mean? Or if he's uncomfortable, then guess what? Then we're both uncomfortable and we out. We
I
can
love
hang
it.
out
I
with me
love the
later,
loyalty.
but yeah, it's loyalty to the T. And I'm very big on that because that's one thing I always talk about. Everyone in my circle of friends or anybody who comes close to me and that aspect is one thing I will give you is I want you to trust me. So I will do the same for you. And unfortunately, not every time do people do that. And he actually does do it. So that's one of the things that
Oh,
gives
you're
him a
making my
big
heart
strength.
smile. My little kid heart. Now the shady part, flaws. Remy, what is his biggest? What
I
is
love it.
Lindsay's
He'll
I,
biggest
th-
say
I
it.
flaw?
thought of I thought of one.
He can give me three because he's already said it to me. Here we go.
It
Oh,
is
he
It
got a list of
it is
flaws.
it is 2022, and Lindsay still does not know how to work her goddamn phone, and it pisses me
yeah.
off when I try to tell her to do something so simple, like, oh, how do I do that? How do I do it? Bitch, I'm trying to tell you how to do it. Oh, don't tell me how to do it. I want to learn. Okay, stubborn.
How you supposed to
Okay, like,
learn if you can't heard or you can't take directions?
can't operate
I can't
her
do it.
phone.
Listen, I grew up very, very poor. I own it. I grew up poor and I grew up making, let me put it this way, like he'll flip out. It's funny, I still order stuff via phone. So instead of doing the app, I still call. No, I really do. But that's because by growing up, my mom doesn't have the means for it, so it's not quick and savvy for me as someone young. You know what I mean? Like I'll sit down with like Logan, who's like 4 years old, and he knows how to fucking turn on a tablet with the password. He's able to remember my password and get into my phone. I'm like, shit, I don't even know my own phone number. What the fuck is going on? So I think it's just more of one thing about me is if I'm not interested or if I'm not getting it, I let it go. I literally let it go. I can't really try to put my head around it. And for me, I can do technical stuff, but I'm very PG with it. Like anything else, I'm like, oh my God, bitch, how the fuck do I do? Like it would be something as silly as when I was creating like the Instagram podcast, like our pod and our other projects, stuff like that. I would be like, oh, the next time we hang out, I'm gonna have to make you help me sign in and do all this shit because I don't know how to fucking do it. And everyone's like, bitch, just make a fucking account. But then I'll ask them like, but if I sign out, can I get back to my own account? Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like I know, but
You're like the grandma that's always
I'm
asking
like the
for help.
grandma. Yes, I'm always asking for help. But my thing is like asking him. I won't like if he's mad, I won't feel mad. I won't be offended. But okay, I'm still gonna own a bitch, but you're still gonna help me. Nonetheless, the ride or die is still gonna help me. So I don't even know why I feel like damn fool.
So what is Remy's? Well, do you have more flaws, Remy?
Yeah, you have more.
I want to hear what Lindsay has to say.
The
Okay,
same
what's
thing
Remy's
I've always.
biggest flaw?
Oh, this is my favorite one. It's something I've always said. I've said it many times, and I'll say it again for this episode. One of the things that makes me like roll my eyes all the way back with annoyance is
I already know what you're gonna say.
when Remy does not answer the question
Directly.
It's a generic answer. Whether we're playing a game or we're asking a question, he's very boom generic. You know what I mean? Like he's giving you the CVS aisle 2 parade brand answer instead of the specific answer that you're looking for, and I freaking hate it. A perfect
only
example.
tell what people need to know.
There we go. And I'd be like, yo, bitch, this bitch is fucking killing me.
Like,
Literally.
Like, did you go hang out with that guy last night? And be like, I was at home by 12 and I went to bed. I didn't say whether I did or not. I said I didn't. But what I will let you know is that I was home at a reasonable time and I made it to work the next morning.
Yes.
Political answers. So you should definitely run for government one day.
Always.
And I can definitely see that because Remy's very low key. Like,
yeah.
I know Remy was out there in school. And if you guys don't know, me and Remy went to college together. That's how we know each other. And I only know like one or two things about like Remy's escapades in college. And I think that's one because I was close to one of his escapades. So they would tell me things and I was like, oh my God, Remy, really? How is that? But other than that, it's like he was very low key. Like he was always around. You knew he was doing stuff, but you ain't know who, you ain't know what.
Right.
And you was asking him and you wasn't
like,
getting no answer.
Oh, hey, what you doing in this building? Nothing. I came for the vending machine. Y'all got cheese.
Which is
over
true.
Here.
I'm sure, and I'm pretty sure he did get something from the vending machine. That's the thing that'd be killing me. Like he knows how to set. Like if we were to be in a Housewives, friends, like if we were to do our show, all of us were just friends and whatnot. He would be one of the only people I know that can direct his narrative the way he wants it to be, because he doesn't lie. That's one thing. He will not lie, but he's not going to give you the full answer. So yes, he may have walked into the building because he actually was craving the Cheez-Its or the whatever, or after like, I'll probably get me a little Cheez-Its. But what we don't know is that he was doing his little chovera over there first, and then went to the vending machine.
He was getting
It's funny.
Cheez-Its and some
Smart.
other cheese too.
This kid is smart.
None of that. None of that cheese.
So
Pull
someone
back and
asked
scrub.
in the anonymous questions, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
12.
That was the question.
12 wood.
I feel like there's a proper response to that riddle or whatever. I think it's like a woodchuck could chuck as much wood as they could if a woodchuck could chuck wood. I think that's the actual answer.
Oh wow!
But I don't know.
I'm gonna stick to 12. 12 wood.
I'm gonna stick with
12 wood. How many
7 or
woodchucks
8.
have you guys
7 or 8
ever chucked at one time?
How many woods have you chucked at once?
Everyone
And look at it. He's gonna answer it in woodchuck form. A woodchuck. You see? He's not gonna say him. He's gonna say a woodchuck chucked this many wood. I'm gonna say at once one. At once, one. Gonna say, you know,
So do y'all ever clash as far, because I feel like you guys are also like, yeah, very similar in certain ways, but yeah, also very
yeah,
different. So
yeah,
do you guys ever clash in your differences? And if so, like what makes your clash?
yeah. We clash a lot,
I
but
don't think.
it's never anything that's gonna create it's never an argument, or it's never, like I said, I'm not joking. I'm not trying to be funny. Like if
Whoever,
I put my
hold
foot
on,
down,
time
I don't
out.
like it.
Whoever sent me a anonymous message, I can't look at it right now, so y'all better say it loud and say it in the comments. Y'all missed the opportunity
um,
to send anonymous questions.
It's never an argument. Like
no, I
if
think
something is.
we respect we respect each other's differences, whether it's
Hmm.
a difference in opinion or a difference in anything. It's like, okay, I see your side, I see what you're saying. This is how I feel, and it's the same the other way. You'll
Yeah,
hear what I'm saying, but you'll also say what you say, and it's like, well, if that's how you feel, it's
I know
never anything that's too deep.
people are probably thinking like, oh no, they're just talking shit. Honestly, no,
No,
because if we were, we wouldn't be hanging out as much as we want to. I wouldn't be talking about how much I miss this bitch on my pod whenever I don't see him for the week. You know what I mean? And we wouldn't be doing all these projects. So, absolutely.
Then they
Um,
takes PTO off of Remy.
well, I take PTO off of. Okay, so I have this thing when, without saying what it is, with whoever I'm talking about, we can kiki. But once I feel like the shade is very like, I just did a PTO on Shelly because her shade was a little, and I'm being funny. So it's almost like if we were talking about somebody, let's say, you respond back and be like, that's why the bitch is pregnant and she don't know who the father is. I'm like, oh, I'm on PTO. PTO, bitch, I don't want to have a conversation. I don't want to participate in this to be funny, but I do take my
but the
PTOs at
question
times. And
is,
a
did
lot
she
of times,
keep the baby though? But did she keep the baby? I
you see what
still
I
want
mean?
to know.
So I, a lot of times Remy sends, whether it's in a group or personal, we privately, he'll be saying comments that makes me want to take a few days off from him because I do not wish to continue on participating. I usually take
In
like
this
2, 3
narrative.
days off from people.
So
This,
because you guys are the shady queens, right? Birds of a
yeah.
feather throw shade together. What is the shadiest thing you've ever said to each other about each other and about other people? And third one, what's the shadiest thing that's ever been said about you? So three things. Shadiest thing you said about each other or to
Oh,
each
okay.
other, about each other, and that has been said about you.
I think, I mean, we laugh at it. We laugh. We were just being shady earlier today. Look at that. We was privately being shady to each other. I think the shade for me, but I don't take it seriously because I always say, is the fact that I don't get none. So whenever I say something funny, like a bitch, and that's why you don't get none. I'm like, oh, bitch, try to come for my clean panties. But
Look a little
that's
dusty is given.
It's given
Right.
nothing.
that's a shade. I
Cobwebs
think
hurt.
when I say shade, when I throw shade at him, I just call him, the slut bag and the whores. But I say that to everyone. That's my first offense. It's almost like
But if
I
it's
was
for him.
I was about to say
A
Beverly
defense mechanism.
heavily
Oh,
from
heavenly.
Married to
Married to
Medicine.
medicine.
Anytime she gets mad, she's always saying your mother, your mom, your mom. I noticed for me, it's always me calling someone a slut. You're a slut. Shut up, ho. Slut. You know what I mean? I think that's the shade that we bounce off of each other. But it makes it funny. I
Hmm.
love the darlings in the one. I think it's hilarious. Um, a shade that I've heard someone say about him. Um, I don't know if I've ever heard somebody. I'm sure we have, but we're not friends. I just can't think on the top of my head of somebody who has said something
I'll answer one.
shady about.
The shadiest thing that I've heard somebody say about Lindsay was
Yeah.
that
My little
and
armpit hairs are showing.
something that I witnessed for occurred for months. And then after a few months, they're like, oh, somebody pretending to be Lindsay's friend. And then out of nowhere, they was like, oh, I can't be your friend because you only give off surface level friendship and you're standoffish and blah, blah, blah. When I know genuinely that wasn't Lindsay's intentions. But that's how the person felt. And they chose to take that and then further weaponize it or whatever and
Hmm.
make it a bigger thing than what it needed to be. But
Hmm.
aside from that, I don't know. I can't really remember anything else.
Okay. Shadiest thing that's ever been said about, yeah, even if it's not direct, like someone telling you, oh, Lindsay, this, like just anything you've ever heard about yourself that has made you be like, what? That's not even remotely true.
Um, no, I don't. Something that it was a shady comment that was thrown to me one time that I was like bothered by it, and I was only bothered. Listen, I can't help my appearance. You know what I mean? Like everyone has to look the way that they look. But this person, I recently saw them, and they were like a shady friend. I saw them at a party or whatever, and they said, I haven't seen you in forever, blah, blah, good to see you. And like, good to see you too. Literally 14 days after that party, there was another like reunion with a whole bunch of people that all know each other, that work together and whatnot. So it was all at the same event. I get there, and this person who saw me 14 days before, who was like, oh my God, good to see you, gave me a hug, and was like, oh my God, we need to hang out, we need to hang out, goes and tells my friend as I'm walking in, wow, David is super fat. He looks 8 months pregnant. And that's my thing, is like, trust me, I know how I look. I know I look like I'm about to give birth. Bitch, don't fuck with me like that. But
You mad because you got the baby
what made
daddy?
it, well, my thing is, what made it shady is you saw me before. So for you to have said that comment and you made it seem like you haven't seen me in so long, is why didn't you have that same attitude the first time? I think, like, had you said that the first time and then you come and say it again to the people, then I'm like, I'm not going to argue, because I'm going to talk about, you know, how you look. You know, you look like you lived under a bridge your whole life. You have a face that only your mother can love. Unfortunately, she hates you too, darling. So I wish that was it, but that's what I found real shady, is that you waited to have a group of people that also knew me for you to throw that comment and
Did you
like throw me off
correct
my.
them on that? Like, are
We
you
do.
like, out of you two, who's the type to be like, oh, you just said this, like, I'm calling you out, and who's the one to be like, I'm gonna let it go?
I'll press somebody. I
He
don't have
has.
an issue.
I mean, he's quick to do it. I pressed people before. I definitely have. I think at one time even cut in before Remy was ready to
I
fight
was about to
someone,
press somebody.
and I was so mad that I jumped in first, and I was with my clack 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 clack. Um. So yeah, I would say Remy first, then me after. I think my thing is, I always think I'm always thinking, regardless of what the situation is how is this going to benefit me, you, and everyone else? How will it affect it? You know what I mean? And once I know what the result is, and if it's going to go left, then I'm going to go left with it. So I'm
Whereas,
always thinking about that. It doesn't stop me from wanting to say something. I just figure out how important is it for me to reach that point. Whereas of Remy, it's like, nah, bitch, I'm not playing with this right now. You should have
right.
never played with me yesterday. So that's his thing. But yeah, that was my shady little. That was a
And
comment
Remy
thrown
was
at
the
me.
shadiest thing you've ever heard about yourself. I'm pretty sure the list is long.
The list is long. I can't remember any of it. But honestly, like, it's a good question. I also think that I don't remember much of it, because regardless of whatever people have to say, I don't care. So
Hmm.
whatever people have to say about me, it deflects off of me. Like, whatever. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I'm gonna punch you in the face. But just know that I'm not fucking with it. Um, yeah, I can't really think of anything. I'm sure I've been called a bitch. I've been called self-centered. Oh, I'm full of myself, rather. Um,
You should be. You all that
well,
in a bag of chips.
if I'm not full of me, who else am I gonna be full of?
Oh, that's a good
Um,
intro.
so yeah, but I honestly don't feel like I am. I feel like contrary to popular belief, I feel like I'm very like modest, and yeah. So I don't know. Like, I don't let people's opinions of me affect me, because I heard this quote once that said, "The a lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of sheep."
Mm, I like that. A lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of sheep.
Hmm.
I like that. I'm taking drop that.
That's a good one.
So, I have three more questions that people sent in, and if you guys have more
Oh,
questions, turn up and answer them. Ask them in the
In the
comments.
comments,
Name one person. Well, I'm gonna say two people. Name two people. One can be a celebrity. One has to be in your real life. Name two people that you would play in the kiddie pond for.
that would
I'm
play in
not full
what?
of me. I'm full of your husband, Lindsay. I love that. I love that. So
that's me.
name two people you would play in the kiddie pond for. In the meow, like if you had to be like, I'm gonna in the meow.
Oh, oh.
So one can be
Um,
a celebrity, one has to be like in your real life, even if we don't know who they
yeah.
are.
Okay. There's so many, but I'm gonna pick one right now off the top of my head. The most person I speak to in my head, it would be Gwen Stefani.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you
It's
were gonna
definitely
say
Gwen
Gwen.
Stefani. And in real life, what female do we know? Click, click, click. That would be like, okay. So we had this friend who worked with us at CMA very long time ago. I will post her on my story so you can see who she is. Her name is Yadi, and she is
Get
the
the
gold
fuck
of
out of my
celebrity.
head. Get out of my head.
I'm gonna send her this clip. We're gonna have to send it to her. She is
I
like,
knew
no
you were gonna say
lie.
that.
If I was born female, I wish to be her. And if I ever decided to fully not do drag and just commit to being transitioned to a lady my whole life, like the Kardashian type of surgery, I would just get a picture of her and be like this, so like I want her. Mind you, yes, I think she's sick and everything, but also like from the man's point of view, she'd be somebody I'd want to be like jumping on the kiddie pond with.
Heard Yachty.
Kitty, like meow
Invited
meow.
my
Yeah,
friend.
Yachty. She's no.
Mm.
I'm gonna show you her. I'm telling you right now, she is, and her personality. I mean, you know what's crazy? The first time I met her too, she had like her hair is like dark blonde right now, but it was like super super platinum white blonde hair to the black eyeliner, and I said, "You're gonna laugh," and I'm gonna ask her to, I'm gonna tell her to respond to me what I told her the first time I met her. I said, "You look like Gwen Stefani." And she's like, Gwen Stefani. I'm like, yeah, with the hair up. And she's like, oh, girl. She's like, she bleached her hair so much that it was so damaged that she could only put her hair up like in a bun. I was like, I don't see the damage, but okay, girl. But yeah, she is definitely somebody I would swim and lick kitty with.
All right, Remy, your turn. Heard Yachty, wherever you at. If they're vouching
Um,
for you like this, I want to see you. Sound the kitty on the
your
regular.
mouth,
I'm really good
your
at
mouth
this.
is gonna drop. I'm gonna show you her mouth. Your mouth is gonna drop. I'm not gassing it up. Go ahead,
I'm
Remy.
promoting myself. I'm very good at eating kitty. Never got no complaints. Just saying.
Um, that's a good question. I wish I would have known the questions in advance so I could have prepared.
I
Um,
was thinking of like sending you guys the questions, but I was like, I want this like just to be raw response.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm
organic.
not
I
sending you
love the organic.
nothing.
Yeah.
Wait till you hear the
uh,
next question.
I don't know. I can't think of anybody. I genuinely cannot think
Celebrity
of
or
anybody.
person like celebrity?
Celebrity, I'll go with Alexa Demi from Euphoria, the one that played Maddie.
Oh, yes,
Yes, I
I
can
love
so see her
Yeah.
for
her.
you. Yes, I can see
Mm,
that girl
I'll give
for
it to
you.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in person, I'll let you, if you think of someone from now to the end of the episode, then you guys will tell us. So, okay, are you guys each other's type? Why or why not? That was something that was sent in.
Um. Okay. I would say that if I didn't have a friendship with Remy, and if I was a brave person, I wouldn't mind talking to him because he is a good-looking person. I'm not saying that he's my type because I do have a type. Remy doesn't fit that type, but he's still a good enough looking person that I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like I would turn my head and be like, yo, what's good? What's up? What's happening? But
What's
unfortunately,
poppin'?
yeah, what's well, I wouldn't say what's happening. We're like abierta las piernas like this. But no, yeah, but he's a good looking person. So I would say yes. No, because we're friends. Obviously, I don't even think that way.
Right.
But if the world was a tilt, yeah, I don't see why not.
But also, genuinely speaking, I feel like I don't have a type. I feel like people say I do, but I feel like I
Hmm.
don't. I feel like
I was about to say
I'm
yes, you do, but this is your answer.
I feel like I don't. I feel like I'm open to getting to know people. First of all, of course, attraction. Like, I have to look at you and be like, okay, I'm willing to talk to you, to pursue you. Well, other than that, I would expose my DMs of people messaging me and me not responding. But
Oh,
I don't respond. And then, like, when I do see somebody that I'm interested in, that's when I'll be like, oh, okay, so, like, what's up? What is this going to be? We're going to hang out. We're going to get to know each other. We're just going to meet up one time. Like, I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, no, I don't necessarily think Lindsay's my type. But again, I don't feel like I have a type because I feel like I'm
Right.
open to
Whatever comes.
anything.
Not whatever
Yeah.
comes, but like, okay. Follow-up questions to that. If someone asked, you know, it's crazy because this was on my list of things to ask because I felt like I wondered it. But I was like, I'm not going to go there. And then someone sent me this question. They asked to be anonymous. So I'm going to keep them anonymous. But they
Okay.
asked me this question. I was like, oh, I wanted to ask that. But I was like, you know what? Since you asked it, ask it. Have you guys ever hooked up or came close to hooking up?
No, you know what's
No.
crazy? The last time we took a shower together, we were saying, I wonder if people would say that, if they would think we hooked up. No, that's actually a reference from Friends. That's the funny part. That's a reference from Friends. No,
I love
no,
Friends.
never, never,
Mm-mm.
never, never, never. It's never happened. It's never even been a thought. Never.
I love that
Not
because
even on the drunkest of nights.
I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
misconception with gay guys or guys who like
Mm-hmm.
guys. It's just that everyone hooks up with everyone and it doesn't matter. And it's like, yeah, the gay world is small, so you have like overlaps and things like that. But I think you've mentioned it before, Lindsay,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like you don't do that with friends or you don't do that with
No.
like.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and it's a feeling too. Like you would have that feeling. You can build that feeling. Like Remy said it perfectly. I said it before. Like it's not necessarily you don't have to be someone's type. Now, like I said, if we talk about now, we sit down like, oh no, we're like siblings at this point. Like no, we don't
Which
think
I
like that. But outside of it, we wouldn't. But it's just a feeling. You can always look at someone, whether it's you, Nelly, or my roommate or whoever it is. Like whoever I'm around, you need to build a feeling. So it could be somebody you've known for 10 years, or somebody you met for like 4 seconds. Your feeling would be alert to want to go less than just being friends. And I'm gonna say, at least for me, and then Remy can answer for himself. At least for me, I've never had the urge to be like, oh, Remy. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Mm-mm.
no. So no,
I,
but
on the
which
never.
I
other hand, I, on the other
ooh,
hand, don't mind fucking my friends. But in this instance, like Lindsay said, we are like siblings. So it's like,
Yeah, you
which
need to
I
have a feeling. It needs to be
yeah.
a
would you
feeling.
guys
That's what it
ever
is.
have like a pact? Like I know some people that have pacts and it's like, oh, we're best friends, we don't see each other that way. But like if we hit 40 and we don't have anyone, we would like marry each other and adopt kids or have kids together just for the like those
No.
pacts.
No,
No?
but what I do think
No.
is when we reach a certain age, I'm not gonna name a number, we're gonna be like those two Muppets in the bleachers in the top, just heckling people, talking shit. That's gonna be us.
I can see you guys living
God,
to like deciding to even if you're
Golden
married,
Girls,
deciding like
like the
we're gonna
Golden
have a
Girls.
house together, our husbands can stay in the guest house and we're gonna live together. And if we have husbands and we have kids, we're gonna raise them all in the same house. I can definitely
You
see
know
you guys
what's
do that.
funny and crazy about that is that's the conversation I've had with Edwin so many times, and I'm always thinking about the Golden Girls. And I'm not rushing to reach the golden age of our lives, but I'm at, I'm anticipating it because if everything still works out the way that everything has been flowing now up since we've met, I can see us all being the Golden Girls in like
I
a
could see
condo or
that,
something.
honestly.
The
Don't kill me.
shenanigans that
I've
would
never
ensue.
seen an episode. And Cassie loves it, but I've never seen Golden Girls.
So you gotta
Okay.
add that to your
And you
list
want us
too.
on your
That's
show,
yeah.
and you want us on your
And I've
show.
never
You
seen
don't
I
even
and
what?
I love Betty White. I love her. I've seen her like in every movie she's been in, and I've never seen Golden Girls,
It's
which
on
is like a shame.
Hulu. Take it on your flight on the
I
plane.
know.
Download
That's
it and watch it on your tablet. I'm telling you,
yeah, it's like a
you're
five
going to
hour.
cackle. You're going to cackle. You're going to cackle. It is
And
such a funny show.
I know
It's
you did some of
so
your
funny.
homework, but you didn't do it all, so you get a C.
Oh,
Ooh,
And when you come back from Colombia, let's hope you can bump that grade up to a B.
shall try. There's a lot of other things on my agenda for Colombia.
Okay, as they should
okay.
be.
I'm about to call you
Okay.
because I want to see what Colombia be looking like. I'm gonna call you. Be like, hey,
Yeah,
what you
you gonna
doing,
call me?
Nelly?
Well, so last time I went to Colombia, I went to Cartagena, and that's like the party city. Medellin is known for their party life too, because like the history and stuff. There's not a lot of because it's not by the beach or anything like that. So there's not a lot of like outside scenery. So I'm very excited to see what I come because I'm like the planner of the group. I'm the only girl that travels with us. So let's see what I come up with for us to do while we're out there. I want to do the Pablo Escobar's house, which is like a museum,
Don't
and I
get
want
shot, girl.
And it's actually his family that runs it. So his family gives the tour. So I'm like very like I want to. That's one of the things that I want to do when we're
I
out
don't
there.
know. Don't get in those strange cabs.
Yeah, don't get no strange
we
cabs.
we seen
Yeah.
Taken.
So I travel a lot, and something that I've noticed with a lot of other countries is like people will say like, "Oh, Uber works there," because that's the first thing you want to know. Does Uber and Lyft work there? A lot of places, like especially VR too, they do this. Where and you have and if you don't know that they do this, it comes off as pretty shady for people who haven't traveled there. Where they do is let's say you call an Uber, they'll accept it, they'll come to you, and when they get to you, they'll tell you like cancel the Uber and pay me in cash.
Oh
And
wow.
people like are like, oh, that's so shady, this and that. But I speak Spanish, so I'm usually the only one that speaks Spanish when we go on vacation. So I'm able to talk to the cab drivers, and they tell me why, because like Uber does not pay them well. So let's say a
Mhm.
ride, like I'll take like for Costa Rica, we took a ride, it was like a 2 hour ride, and on Uber it was like $50. A 2 hour ride for $50. Imagine that in New York. And of that $50, the cab driver only gets like $10.
That's
So they'll
shady.
cancel it and they'll be like, give me the fit, but they'll try to upsell, give me the $60 and I'll take you. So some people who don't know that they don't want to do it. They're like, just like, no, you're being shady. You can like drop me
Hmm.
off and kill me. But it's really like that. So whenever you guys travel out of seas, like, and that happens, just know that it's.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna do all that, but what I will do is I'll rent a car or something.
But a
We'll
lot of you don't want to do that, right? Because one,
we'll get a personal driver.
well, you guys can you guys know
We
a
get a
little
Sprinter
Spanish.
van.
That's true. Sprinter van, sprint all the holes everywhere. But like if you do that, like roads and driving in other places, depending where you're going, it's crazy compared to here. And if you don't know Spanish, you can't read the signs and shit, and it's no bueno. And a lot of these places are kind of corrupt where if cops stop you, like well, I went to Mexico a few years ago and I still like in a resort. I didn't like I left the resort like 1 or 2 times, but I had people that were there that stood outside of the resort and they said that when they were like driving to the resort to meet up with us, cops stopped them. And cops were like, "Oh, the person in the back doesn't have a seatbelt. You guys are all gonna go to jail unless you pay us $100 each."
Oh shit.
Oh
So
no.
that happens in countries when they see like, oh, that's a rental car, like they'll stop you on purpose because everything is like money mine. So things to
Hmm.
think of. Okay, so we've been on for like an hour and a half. Dang, that went quick.
That's how the episode be. We just be talking, and next thing you know, it's an
Yeah.
hour and a half later.
Right. So if you guys have more questions,